So now that we've our frame fully made, we're going to bring it to our ope, and now I'm going to show you how to fit the frame, fit the door stop, and fit the liner if required. Okay, so got to fit the frame. So we've chosen to have our frame opening into the room. Okay, so to start off with, I have adjusted these packers out by about 6 mil, just to give me a starting point on the hinge side only. That's what I've done so far, okay? So that's giving me a starting point, okay? To center it up within my ope, okay? So I'm going to keep the hinge side of the frame flush with the plasterboard, and I'm going to put my first screw in. I'm not going to drive it home, but I'm going to put it in a little snug, okay? So that's in snug now. Now I'm going to check my head to make sure it's level. If it's not level, you're going to have to use a packer to adjust whatever style needs to be adjusted to level up your head. Your head has to be level when you're fitting your door, okay? So my head is level. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so my next screw is going to be on my receiver side. So again, I'm going to pull my frame over till it's flush with the plasterboard on my side, okay? I'm only going to snug it up because I haven't adjusted my packer yet, okay? So now I'm going to go back to my hinge side and I'm going to adjust this frame to get it nice and plumb, okay? So I'm going to get a plumb on the hinge side, okay, and I'm going to put a little mark on the ground just to keep that there so I know where I'm working with. I'm then going to adjust it this way. Okay, so that's got to go in a tiny bit, so I'm just going to give that a little tap in. Okay, so now that I'm in the right position, I'm going to put a mark on the floor and I'm going to adjust my metal packer accordingly. So that's got to go in 1 or 2 turns. There we go. I'm going to put a screw in that. Now I'm not going to do the middle one yet. I'm going to leave the middle one until I have my door up. Okay, there's no point in doing that and then having to change it later. Okay, so we're going to put that one in when we know the top and bottom are 100% right and my door is swinging. So that again is in, it's snugged up, it's not solid. We can fine tune that later. Now, we're going to make sure that this side is plumb. Okay, so that's got a little bit of adjustment there. I'm just tapping that over with my boot. Okay, that's good. I'm going to put a little mark on the floor, again, just to highlight that in case it moves again. And then I'm going to check it this way. So there's a little bit in that. So I'm going to tap that in. It's a little bit too much, so I'm going to have to get my packer and twist it out. Okay. Perfect. Absolutely spot on there. I'm going to put a little flick in the floor there. Again. Now, I'm going to put this screw in, and I'm not going to do the middle one. I'm going to wait until my door is swinging. And I'm going to tighten it up, but not over-tighten it. Okay, now, I have my frame in. You can tape it if you want, top, middle, and bottom, just to see if we're there or thereabouts. Okay, so there's a small bit in the middle. I'll adjust that later with my packer. And my bottom seems to be there or thereabouts. There's only a small bit in that. I might get away with it. Let's see what the door's like. Okay, so now I'm going to hang my door. Now, my door, as you're well aware, we've machined it all already. All the ironmongery is fitted on it already. So all I need to do is hang the door. So I'm going to put 2 hinges in each, 2 screws in each hinge, just to make sure it's right. And then when I have the door open and closing right and the frame fully adjusted, I'll fit the balance of the screws in the hinges, okay? So I'm going to get my door, and I'm going to get my top hinge in first. Just give it a little tap that it sits into it. There we go. That's it fitting in there. And again, because all my hinge route outs are machined and pre-drilled, I can screw the screw in gently at the start with my hand. That'll hold it nicely. A bar here. I'm going to push that door out and get my bar underneath it and line that up. Right. So that's my bottom hinge is now in. Do you think I can get a bloody screw out of my pocket? So there we go. That's my door hanging. 2 screws in each hinge. Just to get me going. Right, so that's my door fully hung. Now I'm just going to close the door over really quickly just to check the margins, and then we'll come back and we'll adjust the middle screws. Okay, so the margins are spot on. The only one I have a problem with is the lock side. So I'm going to adjust that now in a second. There's only a couple of mil in it. So this one here needs to be tightened up a tiny bit. So I'm going to tighten that up. That's it touching the frame now. And I'm going to put my screw in. I pulled in a little bit too much, so just tighten it up again. There we go. This one I'm going to snug off. And this one, snug it off as well. Okay, so that's good and solid. Now, there's a tiny bit in that, and my packer isn't touching it. So let me just have a look at that with my level. So there's a tiny bit in that level. I can see that from where I am here. I'm going to adjust this accordingly. So there's that now, perfect. No light getting through there, that's that perfect. So I'm going to put that screw in there and tighten that screw up. And that's my frame fully fitted. And all my fixings fitted. Snug the top one, snug the bottom one. Right, so that's my frame fully fitted now. So now I'm going to fit my receiver. Again, fully machined. Fully pre-drilled from in the workshop. So that there now is my frame fully fitted, my door fully hung, my door is fully ironmongered, and my receiver has been fitted in my frame.